And I think what you're going to appreciate is that these 4 speakers come from diverse backgrounds, and they are very different speakers, but each one of them is absolutely amazing. And I'm hoping that you will be able to relate to all of them, or at least one of them, and apply what you learn from them to your personal style and your personal journey with impromptu speaking. So you'll see a 2-minute video from them, from their contest, and then each champion will share 5-6 minutes with us of their journey with impromptu. We'll then move to the next champion, and after we've heard from all 4 of them, we will do some Q&As. You sent through some great questions when you registered. We'll see how many we can get through. We'll then have a short comfort break, and followed by an interactive table topics contest where Meryl Jabba, we're hoping to hear from at least 12 people. We've drawn your names from the people who said they would take part, and each person will get feedback from one of the champions on their strengths and what they can work on. So are we ready to start? Can I see in the chat, or maybe just put your reactions up or put your hands up in the air? Are we ready to hear from our champions? Fantastic. Okay. Let's see how this works. Just checking you can all see my screen. Is that fine? Yeah, beautiful. So our first champion that we're going to hear from tonight is all the way from Ghana. His name is Evans Adugamfi. He is with U.S. Embassy Accra Gladiators Toastmasters in District 94. And Evans has chosen the finals topic from the knockout contest to share with us. I am hoping and praying that my video works for you. So please all, keep your fingers crossed that this goes well, but let's see how we go. Have a look at how he did with this finals topic, and then we will hear from Evans as
champion number 3, Evans Adugamfi. The topic is people who are crazy to think they can make a difference are the ones who do. People who are crazy to think they can make a difference are the ones who do. Evans Adugamfi, all yours.
I hope you remember that trademark. We sang both in the year 2009 during the World Athletics Championship in Germany. We sang both believed that it was time for him to demonstrate to the world that indeed, if you think you are crazy, then you can change the world. How crazy was he? He did demonstrate by breaking the world record, the 100-meter record, setting his own record, less than 10 seconds. 9:58 was the record. Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, invited guests around the globe. I want to challenge you that sometimes when we talk about being crazy, changing the world, making influence, it's not really about the globe as we have it. It's about your world, your corner. Here am I, speaking to all of you around the world from my little space. For this contest, or for the purpose of this contest, we say my speaking space. But this is my world. So I have a friend who would always say that you may not be as big as the sun to bright everywhere for everybody to see, but you can be as little as the candle that can brighten the little space, the little corner where you are. And that is what I call your world. So be crazy about changing your world and not the world. Because the world is such that we have different cultures, different backgrounds, and sometimes trying to bring all of these elements together becomes so difficult to change. But at least in your world, when you are crazy enough, and I dare you to be crazy enough, as our DTM, Pamagas will always say, if you dare do what is crazy enough, indeed, you can change your world. That would be the least, and the world will hear about you. Contest check.
Wow, Evans, thank you so much. You see the applause. I'm going to stop sharing. And Evans, if you could take the screen and please share with us your journey with Impromptu and how we can learn to speak a little bit like you. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Wonderful. Yes. And greetings from Accra, Ghana. In my part of the world, when you are speaking to people you do respect, you do not put on a cap even when you are the champion. And therefore, I will lay down my crown. This is awesome. And I'm so excited. And I show my appreciation, deepest appreciation to Verity. And of course, the District 74 Director for bringing us together for us to share these exciting times. As Verity rightly said, it's a very eventful moment for me as a young man trying to become double. But I said the other time on another call that when you become a champion, as they call us, you are not just for yourself, but you are for the entire community. And thankfully, COVID has made it possible for the whole community of Toastmasters around the globe to gather together as we are experiencing at this particular moment in time. So thank you, everyone, for spending time to have either your afternoon or your evening with us. The part I want to share with you when it comes to impromptu speaking, or as we call it, table topics, others call it topics from your back pocket, are very simple. I joined Toastmasters not knowing how to stand before people to express myself. It was a very difficult thing for me to do. In fact, when I was in high school, I once dared to become the senior prefect of my school. It was a boys' school, Prempeh College. And one of my teachers looked straight into my face and said, "Are you sure you can ever address the whole school every day, Monday to Friday? Are you sure you can do that? Because I've never heard you speak in class. How can you think about becoming a school prefect?" And that was it. It got shattered until I get to college, and one day I saw on the television being advertised, "Are you interested in developing your public speaking skills? Do you want to become a competent leader? Please join Toastmasters." That was how I became a Toastmaster. It was a simple ad on television. Some few years down the line, because I know people have been in Toastmasters for so many years, 3 decades and over, this is where I am. And I'm honored that Region 11 will recognize me as somebody who has something to share when it comes to impromptu speaking. So I wouldn't want to delve much into how I became a champion, but I would rather want to spend some time to talk about this particular video that we just watched and some of the techniques I employed to be able to deliver the speech the way I did. First, in my introduction, you see almost 5 elements of public speaking as we all know it. I employ pauses, I bring to bear some research, and I also use my body to express. I also did a lot of eye contact by looking straight into the camera. And the 5th thing I did was I made sure that I had control, or I was in charge of the topic that was being presented to me. That is generally about speech delivery. But when it comes to impromptu speaking, or table topics as we say, that was the moment I was actually structuring my speech. It was just the introduction, but it was something I had prepared prior to this contest. And it gave me that luxury of time of close to 38 seconds to really structure what I wanted to say. In other words, when you are doing impromptu speaking, you must always bring as an introductory speech or part of the speech something that will allow you some flexibility to think through what you really want to say, so that you don't have to struggle whilst you are delivering your speech. So when I said, do you remember? That was something I had rehearsed prior to me giving the topic. And if Nancy or any of the contestants or the champion that came after me will recall, even whilst we were in the waiting room, I was doing those signs because I had prepared this together with two others that anytime the topic was given and I found one of them relevant, I was going to employ that. And because that was not something I was thinking on the spot about, it gave me the room to think about other things, process them in a way so that the logic will flow. And that is exactly what you saw. So that's the first thing. As Toastmasters or people who are devoting themselves to the act of public speaking, you must always develop what I would call your story bank. And this I borrowed from a Toastmaster who is on the call, Dr. Susie Akupoplampu of Jolato Toastmasters in Ghana. She will tell you, you must always have a story bank. So I have 2 minutes left. I'm not going to stay or go beyond the time allotted. Let me quickly share with you 3 things I want each and every one of us to know when we are given the opportunity to do table topics, be it in a contest or otherwise. 1, value it. A lot of us do not place value on table topics as much as we ought to do, but that is not correct, because as a matter of fact, we do apply the principles of table topics much often than we do apply prepared speeches or the principles of prepared speeches, because every day we are called upon to deliver some form of table topics or the other. Can you please give me your response on this? Have you seen the report? What do you make of it? These are all activities we undertake on daily basis that we do not really give thought to, but they are all forms of table topics. Number 2, when you have the opportunity, please apply yourself to it. It was a late call that came to me to participate in this contest. But the moment I said yes, I gave it my all. I applied myself, read, prepared, and then came into the contest. So that is the second thing I want to share. And the third one will be see beyond the contest. I knew this was the opportunity for me to speak to people all around the world. Region 11 has the whole of Africa, Middle East, and Pakistan. It was an opportunity for me to see beyond the contest and get to connect with people or Toastmasters and even some non-Toastmasters around the world. So I would say that value the opportunity given, apply yourself to it, and see beyond the contest or the table topic presented to you at the club level. And with that, you'll be fine. And maybe, who knows, the next Region 11 championship, the crown will be on your head. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Evans. Wow, that crown on your head, but such wonderful insights to practice possible intros, to create a story bank you can draw on, and then give it your all and see beyond the contest, see where this is taking you. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So next up, thank you to Evans, and our next champion at Mastering Impromptu is Nancy George Vijo. She's from Kuwait, challenges Toastmasters in Kuwait in District 20. And Nancy has chosen for us to watch her video from the semifinals, Beyond Your Titles, Who Are You? So let's have a look at what she did with that topic.
Beyond the titles that others have given you, beyond the titles that others have given you. Who are you? Champion number 5, Nancy George Wijo.
I was raised by my grandparents when I was 6 months old until I was 6 years old. If there was anyone who was as dear to my life, it was my grandpa. And he taught me 3 valuable lessons: courage, compassion, and confidence. If I was anything beyond the title of being a mother, the title of being a daughter, a granddaughter, a wife, a sister-in-law, a teacher, a HR manager, a corporate training professional, I would say that I'm a person who holds all these 3 core values very dear to me. Very, very dear. Contest master, fellow Toastmasters from Region 11, ladies and gentlemen, my grandpa taught me that beyond the titles, you need to be compassionate. No matter what position you are in, you need to feel the pain in another's suffering. You need to see the agony in their troubles. You need to be with them in their journey. My grandpa taught me the second value, confidence. When someone is being wronged, if you can step up for them, step in and speak up for them, that is the second title and the second value that I hold on to. The third one, confidence. The confidence and the compassion to stand up for what's right, to speak up for what's right, to do the right thing when the whole world stands against you. That is a title that I hold on to. So beyond the responsibilities of being all these other face masks or roles that I play in the world, the titles that I hold near, the value of confidence. What would you call yourself beyond the titles that has been given to you?
Wow. Nancy, thank you so much. We're so excited to have you with us tonight. I think just in the interest of bandwidth, if perhaps we could switch off our videos while we let our champions present, and we'll probably have less interference. But Nancy, welcome to Toasted and to District 74, and we look forward to hearing your insights into your journey with Impromptu. Please welcome Nancy after inspiring us so beautifully.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much, Verity and District 74 for hosting all of us. I'm truly humbled by the opportunity that you've all given me. It was great to watch the video again. I could still feel my heart beat again, just like how it went all those years ago, all those days ago. Before I start, I do want to remind you all that though we are called champions, I want to remind you all that each of you are a champion in yourself, because how we perform at that moment is what sets us as champions. There are other people who might have probably were greater speakers than us, but it's all in the moment. So I'm truly humbled and I'm truly grateful that I am a champion. I'm very happy about the title. Yes, I am. But I want you all to remember that all of you are champions in yourselves. Now, as we continue, I want you all to know there's one more story that, just like how Evans had said, that he had a history where people were doubtful that he could speak, so did I. In 2004, I was pulled off the stage at the last moment when I was supposed to represent my class by one of my teachers, saying that, oh, you can't speak on stage, don't go on stage, you can't do it, you're going to let the class down, you're going to let the school down. And see where I am now, and thanks to Toastmasters, that's another thing. So that's a very, very important lesson that I want to pass on to all of you, that do not let anyone tell you what you are or what your limits are. You decide your limits. Now, coming to the topic, I would like to share my experience and what are the tips that I have used. So once again, I'm Nancy George Wijo. I'm a member of 2 clubs from Kuwait, and both these clubs are equally important to me: Elite Challengers Toastmasters Club and Kuwait Challengers Toastmaster Club. I represent District 20, which is Bahrain and Kuwait. So the moment my name was chosen for this contest, I was ready. The moment they told me that, okay, can you represent District 20? Because the present champion is busy, runner-up, and the second runner-up is not really ready to go ahead. Can you do it? I was like, yes, this is the universe coming to me. And I said yes immediately. First thing that I did is reach out to my club members, both Elite Challengers and Kuwait Challengers club members. And I asked them, okay, I am participating. Can you help me? So that's number 1 lesson. You need to humble yourself. You need to be ready to learn. And I selected a team of people who would help me train. And that team of people consisted of freshers, people who just joined a month ago to stalwarts in Toastmasters, people who've been there for years and years. And I have 4 mentors. I want to call out their names. My mentors are Kejetan Pareto, Raymond Pereira, Jervis, and Noor Mohammed. I'm sure most of you know most of them. All these people, along with a team of people who helped me train. So how did I train? I asked them to send me topics every single day. So we used WhatsApp as a medium towards the day, and only on the last 2 days is when I practiced online. But until then, it was all about practice. It was all about practice. So I would ask them to send me a topic, and the moment I saw the topic is when I would attempt. So I know that if a message has come from all these people, that I shouldn't open it until and unless I was free to attempt the topic. And then I would attempt it. So number 1, what you need to do is prepare. Prepare, prepare, and prepare. So how do you prepare? So you need to have your story base. Just like how Ivan said, when you do your homework, I did my homework too. But I think the only difference between Ivan's and me and my preparation is that I did my homework based on my personal experiences. So my story base was based on my personal experiences. I did look around for a couple of influences from the world, people I could draw inspiration from and probably speak about. But my style is to speak about my personal experiences and to relate it, because I truly believe that when people listen to you, they want to see the person who you are speaking about. So what you need to remember that each of you have your own personal style. None of you have to be a copy of another. You need to be unique as you. So you need to realize, what is your personal style, okay? Is your personal style bringing about a personal story, or is your personal style speaking about somebody else, or is your personal style just addressing the public in general? That's okay. That's you, and that's how you should do it. All of us are just sharing our tactics, and you need to select what's best for you. None of our tactics are right, or none of our tactics are wrong. It depends on you, okay? So the tactic that I use is to have 3 parts to my speech always, okay? So I always draw, when I hear the topic, first thing, I pull out from my story base. And then I look, what is my what is my strength, And I know that I can move people with emotion. That's what you should do. What is your strength is what you need to find. Some of you may be humorous, so you attempt the topic humorously. For me, I know I can move people with emotion, so I use my strength. I do not try to bring about another me. I just use what I have as a strength. So my grandparents are everything to me. So all my stories are basically on what my grandparents have taught me. So this is one that I did. I speak and then I connect it. So I speak something from the past. I speak something from the present, and I just speak in general. So another tactic that I used is to reiterate my topic a couple of times so that it reminds everybody that, okay, she knows what she's talking about. She is talking about the topic. And then it also reminds me, it's a verbal reminder for me. Okay, Nancy, stay on track, stay on track, stay on the topic. So this is all that I have to share from what I do. First, find your personal style. Do not be a second copy of anybody else, be an original copy of you. Find your style, practice your style. Second, practice, 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 and practice. Third, do what you need to do. Be humble, be grateful, have a team who's going to be there strongly behind you, and be humble when you win. Always, always be humble, be grateful. Thank you so much, and over to you, Verity.
Wow, Nancy, thank you. Such beautiful insights, and I think such a powerful message to have that story bank of our personal experiences and to be absolutely true to ourselves, to have our unique style, but also to have that team. I think definitely my drawback was I just had a busy week and arrived at a contest. I hadn't done any of the preparation, which is why I stayed in the quarterfinals. And I really think that inspiration for us to take table topics seriously and go, this is not just something you wing, you practice it, you learn it. And thank you for reiterating that so beautifully. Absolutely fabulous. So our next champion joining us tonight, let me get that up. Hold on a second. Thank you, Nancy. Is Rukshana Khan. She's from Qatar Toastmasters in District 116. She's actually joining us from London tonight. And Rukshana has also asked to share the video from the semi-finals, Who Are You Beyond Your Titles? So let's have a look at what Rukshana did with that.
Our champion number 2, Rukshana Khan. Your topic is Beyond the Titles That Others Have Given You, Who Are You? Beyond the titles that others have given you, who are you? Champion number 2, Rukshana Khan.
To know thyself is the beginning of wisdom. So said Socrates, and I agree with him. Mr. Contest Chair, and my friends from all over the world, good evening again. I have many titles. I wear many hats. I'm a mother, I'm a boss, I'm a DTM, but so what? All these titles are not as important to me as me knowing who I am, and knowing myself is the beginning of wisdom. So who is Rukshana Khan? Even my name doesn't mean anything to me. I am a feeling machine who thinks. And over the years in my life, I have spent all my energy getting to know myself. And I believe that's what we're all here to do, is to get to know who we are and then share who we are with everyone around us. For example, I used to think of myself as somebody who was too sensitive. I would cry at the slightest thing. But as I grew up, I realized that being sensitive is a strength. It makes me more empathetic, more compassionate, a better listener, and a better friend, mother, and colleague. So for me, Rukshana is a voyage of discovery, a voyage to learn who I am during these days that I've been given on this earth. And I think that goes for each one of us. Who am I? I'm known as RK, mother, colleague, boss, you name it. But at the end, I am a feeling being who thinks. And I think we all are. Mr. Contest Chair.
Rukshana, thank you again. Just exceptional to see what each of you have done with that topic in the moment. So insightful and inspiring. So please welcome Rukshana Khan to tell us what her approach to Impromptu is. Welcome, Rukshana.
Hi, Verity. Hi, District 74 and my fellow Toastmasters and friends from all over the world. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. I'm blessed to be here with you today. Like these distinguished panelists alongside me today, I really want to bust 3 myths in particular about table topics. Myth number 1, if you're an introvert, if you get tongue-tied, if you find it really difficult speaking on your feet, you're not alone. And this is a skill that can be learned. Believe me, I myself started as a Toastmaster 10 years ago. I could barely speak, and when I did, I had the sweat trickling down my back. My voice was trembling. I felt all those symptoms that as beginners we do, but here I am being able to win a contest, which is unbelievable for me, but if I can do it, so can you. Myth number 2, that because it's impromptu speaking, you can't prepare. And as you've heard from Evans and Nancy, and maybe Saserinda as well, you can and you should prepare for table topics. I will go into my strategies in a little bit, but definitely you can prepare. And the third one is that you have to know the answer to the question, and you have to know a lot about a lot, otherwise you will be speechless. And that is absolutely not the case. You can definitely find something to say. So my strategies, my number 1, if there's one thing I will leave you with today, is learn to breathe. It sounds so simple, but it's key in table topics. The reason is because you have to be in the moment. As Verity said, Nancy said, we all will say, table topics is about being in the moment. And if you're not breathing, you can barely think, you can barely come up with an idea. So really try to control your nerves by learning to breathe deeply, relax your body, relax your mind to the extent you can. We all have the same fears, you know, the fear of being embarrassed, judged, not knowing what to say, criticized, losing, all these fears, but really you just have to be in the moment with that question or topic. And it's so important, otherwise you'll end up answering the question you thought you heard and not the question that was asked. One thing I can share with you is a visualization technique, which is rather than thinking about all those people in front of you, imagine the person who's asking you the question is a friend and you're sitting having a coffee, and all you have to do is speak to your friend and answer that question that they've asked you. So take a moment, that's what I do. I pause and I have a little think, and then I start into the answer to the question. The other key is to keep your answer very focused. Focused on one idea, one message. I believe one speech should have one message, and our minds tend to deviate and go off track, and we think about better answers, but really just go with your first answer and stick with it. Get into a story or an example, but really keep yourself on track. The other important thing, and you see this on your judging ballot if you're in contests, you have to have a structure to any speech, and table topics is a mini speech. It's very easy, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Make sure that we know your beginning, rather than maybe repeating the question, which we do when we're beginners. Try to find an attention-grabbing opening, and then you can address your audience and get into your body of your speech. Then, as I said, you got one main idea, build your whole answer around that, keeping in mind the topic, which if you were listening, and I hope you were, you will be able to draw, your thoughts will come on to that topic and keep you focused. Personal stories are great. Any example you can think of, but not too many. Just keep it simple and not TMI, which is too much information. Just keep it simple. And you're closing, maybe this is where you can repeat the question. So you tie your answer together and you close the circle, and you end up coming across as a very strong speaker who speaks with conviction and stayed on the topic. And speaking of conviction, I think it's not really about if your answer is the best or the closest to what people are thinking. It's about if you believe in your answer. And if you're telling a personal story or giving a personal example, you will come across as somebody who is speaking with conviction and speaking from the heart. And as Nancy said, people are not just there to listen to your words, they're there to get to know who you are. And when you come through in your speeches, that's a winning speech for me, at least. On the speaking part, delivering a table topic, the one advice I'll give to you is smile. Smile at the beginning, try and smile in the middle, and smile at the end, because even if you have to fake it till you make it, that's how you appear more confident than you might otherwise be. And also with your delivery, you notice I actually speak a lot slower than most speakers. That's just because I think it helps me to think when I slow down my rate of speech. And remember, it's only a 1 to 2 minute speech, so you really don't have a lot of time. Just keep it simple. If you can add, as you get more advanced, to using some dialogue maybe, or a quote like I did, using your facial expressions, your hand gestures, these are all as you get more advanced. But it really starts with just listening to the question and putting all those other thoughts and those fears and that anxiety out of your mind. It's never easy, and in a contest it really is hard, but that's what I have learned over the years. It's taking that time to breathe and calm myself down. And on the preparation, I'm absolutely with all of the speakers today. You can prepare. You have to have a library, a mental library of your experiences, those stories. Maybe think about your own speeches that you've done in your club. Just have ideas on various general topics. So maybe on values, different values and themes, so that you've got something to draw on. And, you know, all I can say is you can do this. If I can do this, you can do this. Breathe, focus, and go for your first answer. Back to you, Verity.
Thank you so much, Rukshana. Absolutely amazing. And some of the messages coming through in the chat about your poise and your presence, which I think I mentioned to you after the contest as well. Absolutely wonderful. And so much around trusting that first instinct and following that one idea, which as Toastmasters we should always be doing in prepared and unprepared speaking. So thank you so much. Right, moving on to our final champion. Thank you again to Rukshana. Our final champion tonight is Saserinda Waragada, who's joining us from Saserinda Toastmasters in Saudi Arabia in District 79. He's also chosen the semi-final speech, so it's lovely for us to see what these three of the speakers did with the same topic. So let's have a look at what Saserinda did.
Saserinda Waragada, your topic is Beyond the Titles That Others Have Given You. Who are you? Beyond the titles that others have given you, who are you? Champion number 6, Saserinda Waragada.
I have a shelf full of awards, medals, trophies. But beyond that, am I actually all those things? Master, fellow Toastmasters, judges, and guests, In life, we achieve many things. We would love to be great speakers, great debaters, maybe get a promotion at our jobs. But what are we behind all that achievement? Every morning I would wake up to that question that keeps pounding my head. What am I? I kept on asking this question to myself, so I went and asked an advice from someone who is well experienced. My dad always said, those are just labels. Who you truly are is what lies in your heart. In my heart? What am I inside my heart, I wondered. And then he said, take a good picture of yourself and find your way. Now as I achieved, I looked through all my past. Achieving. How did I achieve? You know those small achievements? You know those big achievements you also made? Everything you do, the qualities that you possess, being patient, humble, courageous, determined, that all adds up to who you are. Whether you're a kind, simple person or a well, confident speaker, you are that person inside. Medals never defined you. Medals never tell who you are. Who you really are is what lies inside your heart. My fellow Toastmasters and dear gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, find who you are. By finding yourself, you can exactly know what type of impact you can make to this world, how you can change the world. I found myself to be a brave, bold, and courageous boy to fight my fears and achieve courage. So I leave this question. What are you inside? Over to you, Charisma Master.
Wow. So just to show the breadth that each of these contestants brought to this topic is absolutely amazing. Saserinda, we are so excited to welcome you and hear what tips you have for us that we can also step up and speak like this.
Greetings, District 74 and members around the world. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time it is. First of all, I'm really grateful and delighted to be here. Thank you, Toastmaster Verity and District 74 for hosting me and giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts and ideas to you all. Now, not like all Toastmasters, I joined at a pretty young age. I was actually a past Gavalier. I joined the Gavel Club at the age of 12. But that was just my startup. And then at the year of 2015, I joined Toastmasters because I had the passion of public speaking. And that's where I made my impact. So it took me approximately 2018 to 2019. 2019, I was able to win the District 79 Champion of Table Topics. So the real reason what made me drive was the passion. Now, Table Topics is a simple mini speech. This is my give back to what I feel about Table Topics. First of all, what I love about Table Topics is the intensity, the heat that you might feel during the times when you're trying to respond and give that right answer to the Table Topics master. Table Topics is like that mini prepared speech, but it's not prepared. Now, if you take a prepared speech, you just have approximately 5 minutes to 7 minutes just to inspire and give your message to that audience. But Table Topics, you just got 1 minute and 2 to 2 minutes to tell all your thoughts and views. And Table Topics is quite hard because you got to entertain and keep the audience with you throughout that 1 to 2 minutes. It's not that easy. But what can keep you going is how you think about the Table Topics. First of all, what do you have to do to answer a responsive question? Make sure that when you're answering a question that you are well knowledgeable about every background. When you're trying to answer the question, and maybe sometimes the topic might be quite difficult. What would I do when I find the topic difficult? I would just break down the topic. For example, if the topic was success is when opportunity and luck meets, I would try to break down the topic into 3 pieces, maybe talk about success, luck, and then opportunity, and then bridge them all up. The key element here is by starting out with an amazing opening. Either it could be quite dramatized, a quote, something that could grab the audience attention. Because once you grab the audience attention at the opening, you can make them inspired throughout your message. And as you're going through the body of your speech, you can start giving out examples. Now, some Toastmasters would use a real life example, maybe talk about someone, but what I would always prefer would to go with something personalized, because I would like to always play with audience emotion. I try to use my own stories. Table topics is not thinking too deeply, but just it's always around you. The examples are just around you, within your reach. It's always just next to you, but you just got to not think so hard on it. Just take it easy. Always I would grab out a personalized story, which would be with me and someone else. And then I would go on with that whole key message, defining the topic and expressing my view on what I believe in. For table topics, never feel bad of expressing your view. That's number 1, because your views is your views and you have to believe in your views. Always at table topics, first thing, you got to breathe and relax. Don't feel the heat, don't feel the tension. You got to take it so easy and light, because once you do that, then only you can listen and think clearly. Take a few seconds to think about the topic and go for it. And what is the main important key? It finally is to answer that question. What is your view on that question? For example, if they're saying whether, what do you think about success? You got to tell your view finally about success and then conclude it really well. Be calm, be poised. Don't take it too hard on yourself. Be energized. And some people will ask me, well, how do I feel energized? Why do I feel so energized during my speeches? It's just a natural way of habit of where I speak. Always like what Toastmaster Nancy always said, be yourself. Because once you're yourself, that's the only way you can respond to the topic. So don't try to push anything. Take everything so calm and lightly. Try to answer the topic in your way, and make sure that if you're trying to take an example or any view, it's all around you. So that's my point of view in table topics. And thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster Verity.
Wow, thank you so much, Saserinda. And just a huge thank you to all our champions. Can we give them some shout outs? Let's put some woohoos in the chat. Let's show them some love from across Africa and Europe and North America. But I loved what Saserinda saying, you know, it's a mini prepared speech. It helps to have a general, broad knowledge that you can draw on, but coming back again to draw on your personal story, trust yourself, have the view and your belief and share that. And if it's a difficult topic, unpack it, break it into parts so that you're giving yourself time to think. But have that powerful introduction, bring that drama, then follow your thinking using personal examples and conclude powerfully. All of these tips, I think they've been wonderful. I've been writing notes, so you can guarantee, please join us on our Facebook page on Toasted. We're going to be sharing these over the next few weeks. I think you've given us so much content. And we did have lots of questions, but